You think that's stupid? I got another comeback mechanic for you that's... Shh. We'll talk shit about Soul Calibur 5 later.
Hey everybody, we got our first look at Soul Calibur 6 during PlayStation Experience, so we wanted to dive in a little bit more here with the game's producer. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's been about 5 years, actually, since we've seen a new Soul Calibur game. I was a big fan of the series. The last one we saw was Soul Calibur 5. So tell me a little bit about what inspired the creation of Soul Calibur 6.
まあ、ソウルキャリバー6の開発を最初に始めるにあたって、まず、20周年、ソウルキャリバーの20周年プロジェクトっていうところの、まあ、集大成っていうものにしたかった。
Look at the bars. Oh boy, look at all the meter.
また、まあ、ソウルキャリバーこの後今後どうしていくのって言ったときに、
Meter looks weird. It's written.
プロジェクトソウルっていう中の開発メンバーがいるんですけれども、やっぱりこう続けていくためには、次のタイトルを立ち上げていかないと、もう本当にソウルキャリバーがブランドとして終わってしまうかもしれない。
The characters are a lot bigger here. I should be listening to what he's saying. I'm fucking busy looking at the screen. I can't read this shit.
Just speaking as a longtime fan, it's just great to see this classic fighter back.
I can't tell what to look at.
It's a huge part of my personal gaming history. And I know it's a part of yours as well. I mean, there's
always
been this connection between Soul Blade or Soul Calibur, the original titles, and Tekken as well. And Okubu-san, you actually worked on Tekken 7, so I was kind of curious if there were any development learnings
We're gonna have to watch this again.
rolled from your experiences on Tekken 7 into Soul Calibur 6.
結構社内開発、ソウルキャリバーと鉄拳社内で開発
It's weird how sometimes the characters are very small and sometimes they're large. I prefer large. Look how large they are here. As soon as the camera starts moving, look how large they are here. You want the characters to be closer to the camera. Maybe it has to do only because it has only to do with how close they are. Look at the damage. Wow. That does look pretty cool. It looks better than I thought. What the fuck was that? Wow. Weird.
チームビルディングっていう意味ではそこまでなんですけど、
Look at all that meter you can have. 2 bars.
当然、
he used the super. There's meter. And you use 1 bar for a super. God, that's so stupid. Why the fuck are they doing meter again? It was the dumbest idea. Well, I shouldn't say it was the dumbest idea. It was a good idea implemented in a really poor way. God, I hope they don't do that same stupid shit. That was cool.
That's good stuff, and I know Tekken 7, well, I'm a huge fan of that game. It's the best one in years, actually. They went through actually an engine shift, graphics, the rendering technology, and we are seeing some, if I may say so, some mighty fine graphics work here with Soul Calibur 6. So I'm curious, did you guys kind of come at the graphics and rendering tech in a little bit of a different way here for Soul Calibur 6?
まあ、システムとしてはやっぱり、いろいろ検討はしたんですけども、まあ、現時点ではやっぱり、エピック社の、アンリアルエンジン4、まあ、これがやっぱり一番いいのかなということで、今回アンリアルエンジン4を採用しています。まあ、描画、アートの部分については、実は、
No meter was taken during GI? I haven't even seen the GI yet. I haven't been able to really pay attention to anything. I'm kind of all over the place. I'll look at the characters a little bit and then I'll look at the words.
ルクソールって、ルックスの光の起源
They GI'd with no meter? That's really good news.
この光の表現をどうするかっていうのにすごくこだわって、まあ一つチャレンジだと思って、そのプロジェクトコードネームにしました。
Yeah, that's GI, but how do you know no meter? I didn't see that. He did a GI there, but it looked like it used meter to me. It was green on width.
っていうのをいかにこう出していくかっていうことにチャレンジしています。明るくすると結構光が全面的に当たっちゃうんで、描画負荷が上がったりとか、結構チャレンジなんですけれども、まああえてそこにソウルキャリバー1のような明るい画面を出したいなというところで。
Did that take meter? It didn't. Nice. So you can GI without meter. That's good.
A little bit more on the gameplay that we're seeing here, because this is
Have you guys noticed if they're
extended battles? I'm noticing some new maneuvers that are.
New maneuvers.
Kind of, they're sort of extreme. They're sort of over the top.
Extreme.
And I was talking to the team here a little bit. It sounds like they're called reversal edge. So What can you tell us about how all of that works?
リバーサルエッジの説明なんですけど、やっぱり剣と剣で戦うときって、剣と剣で戦って多分一番興奮するのってどんな時かっていうと、自分が剣豪の気分になれた時だと思うんですね。それって何かっていうと、例えば剣がこう相手が降ってきて、もう鼻先ギリギリで避けて、でできればその瞬間はスローモーションになって、で相手にこう繰り返すっていう。その簡単に剣豪気分になれるっていうシステムを作って、このリバーサルエッジというものを開発しました。
You're going to hell, Batman.
まず
I don't
非常
think
に
so, Superman.
簡単に出せるですね。
Fuck.
リバーサルエッジっていうのが。それから、最初に発動すると相手の攻撃を、上段だろうが中段だろうが下段だろうが全部防いでくれて、それで切り返すっていうシステムになります。その後に、特殊3スプーンっていう形になるんですけども、実はこの特殊3スプーンは、これまで皆さんが遊んでくれたソウルキャリバーの特殊3スプーンっていうのを、非常に簡単に理解できるような仕組みになっています。そういう意味では、初めてソウルキャリバーを作ったっていうのは、まず入り口として、このリバーサルエッジから始めて。
Man, is that really what the life bar is going to look like? It looks so weird.
That's cool, and it's obviously visually very impressive as well, which always helps. So, Soul Calibur has this long, proud history. I've been playing it for years. It's got a really unique control system. It's got a button for horizontal slashes, a button for vertical slashes, a button for kicks, guarding, 8-way run. So talk to me a little bit about how sort of those fundamentals
broke her legs off.
Is that going to play pretty familiar in a familiar way here in Soul Calibur 6?
基本的には過去のソウルキャリバーと同じ、全く同じ手触り感でバトルはできます。もう少し具体的にお話しすると、ソウルキャリバー2のような
GI being back with no meter is pretty nice.
ソウルキャリバー5
It's like a really good sign. Did you guys see if there was any just guarding? You win. Damn, that shit looks so like weird that I feel like it's placeholder. Like the life bars, you think those are placeholder life bars? UI is great.
Very interesting, and I'm curious about just like anything that fans, that veterans who have played a lot of Soul Calibur titles are going to notice when they pick up Soul Calibur 6.
You win.
I'm just kind of curious if there's tweaks.
But hash, Jack Miller, Fox 30 News.
The systems at work.
Still looks better than MVCI and more fluid than SFP.
いろいろなバトルシステムを入れています。で、リバーサルエッジの結構いいところばかり話してるんですけど、当然リスクはあって、で多分上手くなっていくとそのリスクっていうのも分かってきて、他のシステムも、他のバトルシステムもそうなんですけども、やっぱり基本的にはレベルが上がっていけばいくほどこれまでのソウルキャリバーの戦い方っていうものにどんどん回帰していくっていうような作りになっています。
I'm surprised they're showing so much.
ソウルキャリバーの20周年プロジェクトの集大成っていう意味では、これまでソウルキャリバー遊んでくれた人たちのファンの人たちは絶対裏切らないバトルの手触り。
Well, that's great. That definitely helps me out. Although by what I'm seeing here, I'm definitely not worried about that. I mean, this looks just completely beautiful. It looks completely faithful to what we've seen from the series. But I like, the focus on just making it an accessible experience for people, bringing in new fans. I think it's really, really important. So, was curious about just on a personal level. Who's your all-time favorite Soul Calibur character?
日本人としてね、侍でいたいんで、三剣って答えないと、他にも好きなキャラクターいるんですけど、それ言っちゃうとバレちゃうので、他のキャラクター何が出るかっていうのは、他のキャラクターは順次公開していきますので、もうちょっと待ってください。
Well, we don't want you to do that. We know there's a lot more in store for Soul Calibur 6. I'm dying to see what the new characters are, see more of the mechanics, see more of the stages. Now, I'm dying to actually get my hands on the game. So when will Soul Calibur 6 be launching on PS4?
今頑張って開発してますんで、なるべく2018年の早い段階にできればなというふうに思ってるんですけれども、そちらの情報までもう少しだけ待ってください。
Okay, and that's Soul Calibur 6 coming out sometime in 2018, it sounds like. So Very, very excited to
No
go
way
hands
it's
on with it.
before
Thank you so much
June.
for coming
I
on.
bet you at EVO they're gonna show like the console exclusive
Hello, everyone, and
character
welcome
with
back. We are at
DLC
PlayStation
purchase or
Experience
with the
2017.
pre-order.
We are still
I
broadcasting
bet.
from
Hey,
Anaheim.
can you
We
guys
have a
give me
ton
the
of content
video? I'm
ahead,
sure there's
including
already like
The Forest. And I am joined by
shut
Mark.
up, bitch. Give me the link so we can watch that again. It was short enough to not have to worry about it. Excuse me. Wow, that was fast. That was fast.
Thank you.
Was it only 13 minutes?
Thank you.
Hey everybody, we got our first look at Soul Calibur 6 during PlayStation Experience, so we wanted to dive in a little bit more here with the game's producer.
Okay, so now this is
Thank you so much for
gonna
joining us, sir.
loop so we can watch this a few
It's been about
times.
5 years actually since we've
There's
seen a new
so
Soul
much
Calibur game.
gameplay
I'm a
in
big
this.
fan
I
of
mean, they're
the
gonna
series. The last
people
one we
are
saw
gonna
was Soul
pick this
Calibur
shit apart
5.
and figure
Tell me
out
a little
so
bit
much
about
stuff.
What inspired the creation of Soul Calibur 6?
Oh man, that wager thing is weird. I wonder how that works. Did he explain it?
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for all the subs, guys.
Thank you.
It looks good to me, but look, okay, look at this. To me, right? I know this is early footage, right? But look at this. Look how close these two characters are, right? These two characters are real close, like almost right next to each other. But look how small the character is here, right? Historically, in Soul Calibur 1 and Soul Calibur 2, the characters are very large on screen, and the camera is very close up, which is preferred in most cases, just like Tekken. It's like Tekken. They're closer, so it's like better, because you can see them better. In every way, it's aesthetically better, it looks better, you can see the animations clearer, it's just better, right? But, oh, next to the edge, that's not a good explanation either. I don't think that that's a good explanation, because being next to the edge doesn't prompt the camera to be further away. In fact, it prompts it to be closer, right? Or is it, you're saying it's because it's showing the ring? Let's continue and see if you're right. The camera, to me, is too far right now for comfort. But you could be right. It could be due to the edge. It gets close there. Yeah, you might be right. Maybe it is due to the edge. Yeah. That explains a lot. Yeah, it's close here. I like the way you guys are putting this together. You're smarter than you look. Did they just start? Oh, it's third round.
Just speaking as a longtime fan, it's just
next
great to
thing
see,
we need to deduce, right? So the good thing is, let's exclude the last 5 minutes. If you guys are right and the camera pulls out due to the ring, then that means that in a normal non-ring related situation, let's go back right here. The characters are pretty fucking big, right? Look how big this character is. The top of her head is almost at the life bar, and it's a female character. So imagine Astroth. Astroth is going to be a big character on screen. So that's really good. I like that. Next thing I need to find out about is, yes, run counter. That is so important. Something that, let's just preface this by explaining why it's shitty. In Soul Calibur 5, okay, every Soul Calibur has had something called a 8-way run counter. And what it means is, in Tekken, there's a counter hit, and that's it. It's a counter hit. And what that means is, while you're attacking, you were hit during the attack, and it gave you counter hit. Counter hits have additional damage and some additional properties, right? Soul Calibur has all types of counter hits. There are attack counter hits, there are 8-way run counter hits, which means you hit them while they were 8-way running. There are sidestep counter hits, there are backdash counter hits. I mean, the list is long, right? These are all different types of counter hits that exist in Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur 5 specifically made the reward for scoring a 8-way run counter hit so bad.
Thank you.
It was like you couldn't move. The risk reward for moving in Soul Calibur 5 in any direction was like so risky. Just even trying to move
you.
could result in them accidentally touching you with the move that resulted in a 50% combo just because you tried to move. So the high level ended up being none of the best players moved. They just chilled. And it was like a in-your-face rock, paper, scissors style game at a high level because moving was too risky. So that is a really big mistake by the developers of the game because Soul Calibur, in its essence, the key is the 8-way run and the GI mechanic. These are the two things that are unique to Soul Calibur. They are special. The 8-way run and the GI mechanic. They fucked both of those things up in the last game. The GI mechanic was tied to your meter, and the 8-way run was way too risky to even attempt. So they fucked both those things up, right? And every other Soul Calibur game has not fucked those things up. So I hope that there are no 8-way run attack counter hits because it's okay to have an 8-way run counter hit. So like, let's say my opponent is going to sidestep and I thought, okay, he's going to sidestep. I'll use a tracking move. And if I hit him while he sidestepped, that's like, sweet. I got a little bit of bonus damage, like maybe 104% damage or 105% damage because I was rewarded for hitting him with a move that hit him while he was sidestepping, right? But getting the reward of a combo is too much reward. Applying the hit stun properties of a counter attack hit, I don't know, attack counter hit, I should say, that's too much reward. So you end up giving people too much accidental reward, you know? So let's see. Someone mentioned that, and I really hope it's not the case. Most Soul Calibur games give you an counter hit visual spark or something, like a red spark or like something so you can see that it was a counter hit.
And I know it's part of yours as well. I mean,
it's hard to tell if that was a counter hit because she was moving. The armor break system, I'm kind of skeptical about too. The idea of the armor break system, like I said earlier, is if you hit someone low enough times, their low armor breaks off. And after that point, they take more damage to lows. So, I don't know what the fuck to say about that. Excuse me. GI not taking meter, that's great. Titty physics? That's not my area of expertise, and I guarantee you it's not yours either. But I don't really have too much interest in that at the moment. There's always time for titty physics
Jack
later.
Miller, Fox 30 News.
I know Tekken 7, well, huge fan of that game. It's the best one in
Hey, thanks
years,
everybody.
actually.
I'll thank you guys in a bit.
They went through
Look, guard impact. Run counter. It says run counter on screen, but let's the question is, does that give you the properties? That was a counter hit. Damn, there. Okay. Let's go back a little more.
Thank you.
These are all counter hits, right? Run counter, counter.
Thank you.
It doesn't look like there's a visual indicator that it was a counter hit, right? Other than the thing on the screen. Like, there's no red spark. Right? No red spark. This is still early footage. They could change that shit. Oh, hey, look at
just
that.
kind of dialing a little bit more on the gameplay that we're seeing here, because this is
There might be a different,
extended battles.
different spark.
I'm noticing some new maneuvers that are, you know, kind of they're sort of extreme. They're sort of over the top. And you know, I was talking to the team here a little bit. It sounds like they're
it does seem really early. I agree with that.
What can you tell us?
Honestly,
about how
this
all of that
shit up here, I can't tell if this is legit. Look at the sides here. This looks like a fucking Far Side calendar or some shit.
Thank you.
What the hell is this life bar? right?
一番興奮
It's
するのは
peculiar,
どんな時か、特殊
but
3
it
作目
still
は
has a lot of
これま
stuff
で皆さんが
in
遊んで
it
くれたソウルキャリバー
that
の特殊
really
3作目
looks
を非常
alarming.
に簡単に理
That's
解で
just
きる
how it felt before
仕組み
too.
になっています。
But a lot of good stuff too. GI doesn't take meter. It looks like you're moving around pretty. You know, it's gonna take some like real detective work to really find an example of a run counter giving you properties. That's one thing I'd like to know about. A run counter giving you properties sounds shitty. But the good news is, right? One of the biggest problems, or maybe truly the biggest problem with Soul Calibur 5, this is truly the biggest problem, is that they only patched it 3 times and then ran out of support for the game. So had they had that additional support, or maybe if it were on a current gen console or Steam, because those of you who don't know, PS3 was a lot harder to patch than current gen console and Steam. Look at this, you win, it's awful. But now the game will be able to be fixed. In fact, it's probably being designed in a way where it can be fixed. So
very interesting, and I'm curious about just like
I'm not too worried about things like run cancel and stuff, to be honest. I'm worried more about overall philosophy, like what are they trying to accomplish, and what are they borrowing from which Soul Calibur games. Has anybody seen Just Guard yet? That's a big one. You know, I love Soul Calibur, right? But I know that it's not going to be what I loved when I was a kid. And that's okay with me. But what the new stuff that they add, I just hope that it works in a way that's like acceptable, right? Another thing in Soul Calibur 5 that was crazy that we didn't talk about, maybe you don't know about this. Earlier, I told you about in Soul Calibur 5, I mean, it's so mind-blowing to me that if you and me, we sit down and we're playing a tournament match and you beat me 2 rounds straight, I get like 1.5 meters as a reward. It's the meter comeback mechanic in that game. It was crazy. It was like, I can't believe that that's what they decided was good. But get this, there's worse. In Soul Calibur 5, you guys know about Rage in Tekken, right? Forget Rage in Tekken 7. Forget Rage in Tekken Tag 2. Let's talk about Rage in Tekken 6. All it did, literally all it did, was give you extra damage. That's it. No supers, no rage arts, no rage drives, no tag crash, no nothing. Just bonus damage, right? That was the original idea of Rage. Now in Soul Calibur 5, they have something that we called reverse rage. And what that did was, when you got down to the end of the life bar, so let's say I'm beating you up, I'm killing you, and you're almost dead, right? You're almost dead, you have no health. I now have to use moves that do over a certain amount of damage. I think it was 18 or 20. I have to use moves that do over 18 or whatever damage to then get full damage out of my move. If I use any move that does less than 18 damage, it then does way reduced damage. So what does that mean? That means that in order for me to kill you when your life is low, I'm forced to take a bigger risk. I can't kill you with little pokes, which is what you kill people with. Think about like some of the most original writings about strategy in combat, right? When the opponent's life is low, the smallest attack is fatal, right? So you don't need to take this huge risk to kill the opponent when the tiniest attack is fatal, right? This is basics of combat, right? That game didn't allow for that. We don't like that basic combat fundamental idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that you can't use minor attacks to kill. You have to take a huge risk to kill, or else we're going to penalize you. And if you take that huge risk, that gives the person who's dying a greater opportunity to come back. So this is their reverse rage idea in Soul Calibur 5. And I think it was awful. Awful. I mean, it was like changing... What? How does that even make sense, right? Whose idea was that? It was so stupid. So, you know, hopefully they don't do that again. That was crazy, dude. What are you thinking? Whose idea was that? Get that guy out of here.
Everybody, we got our first look at Soul Calibur 6
Crazy
during
idea.
PlayStation experience, so we wanted to dive in.
So you combine that, the comeback mechanic of going down 2 rounds and getting meter, the reverse rage mechanic, I mean, and then 8-way run counters giving you stuns. It's like you're presented with a 3D game that's like punishing you for being good almost, right? It's punishing you for being good in a way that's worse than any other game, really. I mean, maybe X Factor in Vanilla Ultimate Marvel 3 was a really brutal comeback mechanic. Probably the worst one ever, right? But this was close. This was absurd. I would say that the worst comeback mechanic ever was probably X Factor in Vanilla Marvel 3, but this is the stupidest. If you combine the meter comeback mechanic and the reverse rage in one game, that is the stupidest comeback mechanic of any fighting game I can think of. But still not as cheap. I feel like in Vanilla Marvel, it was like the match hadn't even started until someone turned on their X Factor. The match hadn't even started. You've been watching this match, people have been doing all these combos, but until that X Factor turned on, okay, then the match starts. Because that was the biggest shit ever, you know? GI not costing meter is really nice. I guess we could pay attention to the reverse rage here. Look. Did you see that? Oh god, dude. Look, it's in! Reverse rage is in. Reverse rage is in. Look at this. Reverse rage is in as AF. Are you seeing it too? Look at this. Look at the damage she's doing, right? Look at the damage she's doing. Now look. Her moves start doing way less damage when he's almost dead. Look at this. It's the stupidest fucking thing of all time. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? It's so stupid. Look at the damage of Mitsurugi's moves. So stupid. That was a 3A, I think she did. That most certainly should do more damage. That should kill. This move should kill. But it didn't kill because it's doing reduced damage. And it's doing reduced damage because he's almost dead. And when you're almost dead in Soul Calibur 5 and now I think 6, when you're almost dead, you get reverse rage. And it's fucking trash. It's so stupid, dude. Are you following me? Are you following me about the mechanic here? Look at this. It's funny because these are 2 random scrubs, but look at the way this round goes, right? So Fatia is kicking the shit out of this guy. Look at this. Huge lead. I'm kicking the shit out of you. You're getting fucked up. You're almost dead. Uh-oh. The irony of this fucking whole thing, the irony of this is you don't even need high-level players to show what a shitty mechanic this is. These might as well be 2 AIs playing each other and it works exactly the way it works. It's so fucking stupid. Look at the damage she's doing. She's getting a huge lead here. Kicking the shit out of Mitsurugi. Big damage, big damage. Gets down to this point. And look at the damage she starts doing. And now look at this guy. Oh, you could have killed me 5 times already. She could have, starting from that point, she could have killed him 5 times already. Look at this right here. Look at that hit. Look at all this shit that's hitting. And now look, this fucking guy, yo, you could have killed me 5 times, but you didn't use a move that's got a huge risk involved. So now let me make this huge comeback here and then fuck you up. Sorry for not shilling, but that mechanic is trash and dumb to smoke. It's the dumbest fucking comeback mechanic of all time. It's so stupid.
Just kind of dialing a little bit more on the gameplay that we're seeing here.
That's awful
This is,
mechanic.
First gameplay
Get
we're
rid of
checking
that.
out here. Extended battles.
ソウルキャリバーの特殊サンクス組みというの
God,
を
dude,
非常に
that's
簡単に
crazy.
理解できるような
Look at the damage he does.
そういう意味ではこれまで皆さ
When
ん
the
が
life bar gets low,
ソウルキャリバー
oh
の特殊サン
my
クス組み
god,
というの
that's
は
so fucked up,
これま
dude.
で皆さんが遊んでくれた
That hit does a chunk, and then when she's almost dead, the forthcoming hits do like no damage. The throw, I think it also affects throws. If the hit in the throw does less than a certain amount of damage, that gets reduced. But I don't remember if that's actually true. It's been a long time since I've played Soul Calibur 5.
There's a button for kicks, guarding, 8-way run. So talk to me a little bit about how sort of those fundamentals of the control system, is that going to play pretty familiar? And if
So you see here, the reason why this 33BB both hits do full damage is because each hit of 33BB does more than a certain amount of damage. There's a damage threshold. I remember it being 20, but maybe I'm wrong. But let's say it's 20. So the way the reverse rage works in the game is, if you're doing a move that does less than 20 damage to kill, it will do a tiny fraction of its original damage it would have done. But if you do a move that does more than 20 damage, it will do its full damage. So you have to take larger risks to kill. It's very stupid. 50% is the damage reduction. I see. So it has to do more than, am I right about the 20 damage part? So it does 50% of its original damage when the opponent is low if the move itself does less than 20 damage. It's like, it's clearly like a rage mechanic, but it's not a hype one. Doing more damage when you're low on health is way more hype than the attacker, the guy who's gonna kill you, doing less damage. It makes no sense in any way. It's so stupid. You become weaker in your damage output when they're almost dead? Man, I can't believe they put that reverse rage back. Honestly, when we talk about Soul Calibur 5, I think that's the worst thing about it that we talk about. That and the 8-way run counters. Those two things are really, truly the worst things about that game, other than Viola. But that's like a balance issue. That's the stupidest thing about that game, and it's bad. I never thought it would. It's like the wager system. Which, does anybody have news on that? Did he just do it? I just saw. Go back. There. Yeah, right? That was a run counter. Did you see that? That was it. That's the evidence right there. Oh, God. The worst things about Soul Calibur 5 are back, if you ask me. Look at that. So, what's happening here is Sophitia gets hit by an AA, and then that AA was also a run counter, and then she tries to 8-way run again, and she gets counter hit by Mitsurugi's back A, and that ends up giving him the counter hit properties of that move. Right here. AA. Oh no, it's not back A. It looks like it's a stance move. Let's look at this in slow mo. Did I pass it? It's before this. Yeah, there. That might be AAA. It looks like AAA, right? So it's a new string or maybe an old string. And then the third hit comes out. She tries to 8-way run it, and it gives him a counter hit. This counter hit spin usually rewards you with some kind of additional damage because you're spinning, so you get something for free. So this is exactly what I've been worried about, and it looks like it's back. The two things I hated about the last game the most. That sucks. Oh well. I can't believe that they put it back in. It's crazy. We always thought that like that was probably going to be the biggest thing that they thought was a bad idea. Like We always thought that that's what they would change if they had the opportunity to fix something from the game. It was so unanimously the thing that the most people disliked. At least, like, the people that I knew, right? I don't know everybody, right? But when you talk about that game with people that really love Soul Calibur historically, they always complain about those things.
Thank you.
Yeah, they could change all these things. In fact, I'm gonna complain my fucking ass off about these things, and hopefully it works. Because, you know what? When Tekken 6 came out, I really complained my ass off about no record function. And, you know, one of the most, like, I don't know how else to put it, but I was really, like, I felt really, like, good and almost honored when Tekken Tag 2 came out with 6 record functions. And I didn't love Tekken Tag 2 as much as I did 6, but at least they, you know, they were like, look, we can't put it into this one, but we're listening, you know? So I hope that they fix that. I think more people will like the game, especially the 8-way run counter. I guess I could live with the reverse rage, even though I think it's stupid. Well, I mean, whatever, right? Those fundamentals in the end, is that going to play pretty familiar? That sucks, but whatever. It looks better than I thought. That's cool, right? It looks cool. Why are her outfits so revealing? SMH. Oh boy. Why are her outfits so revealing, SMH? You want his outfit to be more revealing, huh? This is an outrage! I can see her whole cooch and teats, and I can't even see the base of Mitsurugi's schlong.
Thank you.
This is an outrage. I gotta contact Namco immediately. I want to see some more dicks. Too many cooches. Fans, that veterans who have played a lot of Soul Calibur. All right, I hear you, bro. You're right about that. You're right. Fair enough. If there's tweaks or fair enough. Rethought any of just the systems that work. You know, it's a valid complaint. SMH. Hey, Ricky Peacock, thanks. It's a valid complaint. Oh yeah, Valdo. Maybe you'll get Valdo.
Thank you.
It's crazy that they're making a new one. It's also crazy that it has such shitty mechanics from the old one. It almost makes it feel like they don't know what to do, but they need to make a game. So they're like, alright, well, we don't really know what to do. It's not our vision. Daishi Orishima doesn't even work at Namco anymore from what I hear, right? So it's not even our vision anymore. But we gotta make something. So let's just take some shit from before and add some shit from the Batman game. And, you know, show a lot of tits. And all we're gonna do is offend that one gay guy from the chat room, and we'll be good to go. Right? Overall design philosophy.
Thank you.
Was curious about just on a personal level, see what the new characters are, see more.
Yeah, I don't think this game is gonna come out until the end of next year. I doubt we'll see it before June. I'm gonna bank on hearing more info about it at EVO. Is EVO earlier this year or later? I forgot. There's something special about EVO's date this year.
Thank you.
Sometime in 2018, it sounds like. So very, very excited to go hands-on with it. Thank you so much.
When is it this year?
Thank you very much.
It's in August, so it's late. I don't think it'll be out by then. No way. So I doubt it'll be at this EVO.
Thank you.
It could be out by then, but if it's out by then, it'll be out for like a month.
Just as shadows
or
are
two.
cast
It could be. Maybe it'll come out in June.
History hides
early
away
2018.
more than one truth.
If it comes out in June, then it'll be at EVO 2 months in. Excuse me.
The wait is over. Thank you.
Let's begin.
Oh no.
Very interesting.
Really?
And, I'm curious about
so Fatia got rewarded meter after losing 2 rounds in a row. Really? I didn't see that. Man, they brought back all the shitty mechanics? I didn't know that when I was talking shit about this earlier. Go back, she gained meter. I'm going back.
between Soul Blade or it's a back. I mean, it's a huge part of my upbringing. It's a huge part of my personal gaming history. Classic.
10周年プロジェクト。プランないと、もう本当にソウルキャリバーがそのまんまだと。
Are you goose chasing me?
やっぱりこう続けていくためには、次のタイトルを立ち上げていかないと、もう本当にソウルキャリバーがそのままだと。
She did. That happened. Look, that's her meter. Oh my god, you're right. They brought back every shitty comeback mechanic that they had. Oh boy, look at this. Look at this right here. So, at the start of this round, can we do this in super slow motion? Watch this. That animation is the animation of her getting meter right there. And she went from having almost 1.5 bars to at the start of this round having full bar. So going down 2 rounds gives you meter again. Stupid, dude. It's so stupid. It's like there's like 5 comeback mechanics in play at the same time in this game. How many comeback mechanics are you gonna put in one game? Wild. But it's still early, and I can complain. I'm gonna complain my ass off, cause that shit sucks, dude. Too many comeback mechanics. That's not even really favoring anyone, right? It's not really even favoring a newer player. It's not making it more accessible. It's not doing anything other than, at a high level, making the game convoluted and frustrating. That's weak. So this game is like Soul Calibur 5.69. Well, they did bring back a lot of mechanics, it looks like. They brought back the armor breaking from Soul Calibur 3. I don't know if it's in any other Soul Caliburs. I don't know if it has any gameplay effect in any other Soul Caliburs. And it may not in this too. For all we know, maybe the armor breaking is completely aesthetic. Just so that one gay guy can get pissed because Sophie's feet are exposed. You know?
Speaking of long-time fan... It's just great to see, this classic fighter back. I mean, it's a huge part of my upbringing. It's a huge part of my
Armor Break was in SC5?
And I know
it's been a long time.
Well. I mean, there's always been this connection.
Oh, that's too bad.
Thank you.
They really retained so many things from the... What the hell was that? Yeah, why did that happen? Backdash counter? Yeah. Lethal hit? What's a lethal hit? Lethal hit? What's a lethal hit? That looked like a backdash counter to me.
鉄拳でこんなことしたからソウルキャリバーでこんなことやってみたらみたいなところの情報共有は、私が上に立ってしっかりやろうかなというふうには思いました。で、
Lethal hit happens when you
チームビルディングっていう意味ではそこまでなんですけど、
break your
ゲー
armor.
ムシステムという意味では、当然鉄拳とソウルキャリバーの一番
here with Soul Calibur. And we are seeing some, if I may say so, some mighty
that did guard damage.
Rendering technology. And we are seeing some,
that did guard damage.
Graphics, the rendering technology. And we are seeing some, if I may say so,
that did guard damage. I said it 3 times in a row, and it did no guard damage at all. I wonder if that guard damage was affected by reverse rage. It might be affected by reverse rage depending on how much damage it does. So stupid. Hey, Malice, what do you think? Miles, what do you think about this shit? I mean, it's gonna be fun to play, but I hate these mechanics making a return. It really makes you feel like they're at a loss for ideas. There's such bad ideas. There's such bad ideas that I can't believe that they are back. Like, what are you doing back? What's the max mode meter drain? Well, it looks like you can use 1 bar to activate this state, and during that state, it looks like you can deflect attacks in some way. That's when that shield is like doing all those parries, you know, in the trailer. I don't know all the details about it at all, but you know, there's a lot of mechanics in play in this game. There's a guard break that prevents you from blocking too much, so it's like preventing you from defending, right? So this is like a restrictive philosophy. Don't block too much because you're gonna get punished. You're gonna get guard broken. Then there's a 8-way run counter, which gives you damaging results for accidentally being hit while you're moving. So that's another restrictive mechanic. Don't move around too much without heavily calculating the risk and reward, because you will be punished. Another restrictive mechanic. You know, I mean, it's just not cool. You don't want to restrict playstyle. You want to open playstyle and add freedom. You want to let the player play how they want to play and balance the game and the stages in a way that allow you to deal with play styles with your character rather than these restrictive and constraining mechanics that don't allow you to play the way you want to play. It just doesn't, it's restrictive. It works, but it's like authority figure. It's like a governor in the match, adding these arbitrary rules to prevent, you know, play styles. I'm so glad GI is not tied to your meter, because that would have been like, this is Soul Calibur 5 again. Honestly, in reality, if you break it down, what do you guys, give me a list of the mechanics in this game that you know about that are brand new, don't exist in any Soul Calibur ever. Is it just this? Critical Edge? Which is a wager? It's the only mechanic, right? That's it? Big titties? Those are in the other ones. I'm not slow-mo shit, that's not a mechanic. That's like presentation. I mean a combat mechanic. Something new, combat-based. Lethal hit, oh yeah, that's new. The wager thing and lethal hit. So reversal edge is the wager thing, what we're calling it. So reversal edge and the lethal hit. When your clothes break, you get special properties. Reversal edge and wager are different? I think they're the same. He said he wanted the speed of the game to resemble Soul Calibur 2. That would be cool. But, oh, that's interesting. Because you know Soul Calibur 5 is kind of a slower paced game, but I always attributed that to the lack of movement in the game. You can't move. Lethal hit is just the guard break. I don't think that's true. I think lethal hit is when their clothes break off and you get special properties.
It's got a really unique control system.
Yeah, it does look faster paced than 5, you're right. Meter mode auto parry? Yeah, that's something. That's a new mechanic, you're right. Step guard seems to be back to some degree. I think I saw Sophie step and immediately block, but she stopped moving. That's how it was in 5, wasn't it?
Thank you.
There is a soul charge? Where? At 140?
Thank you.
At 140, he said?
From your experiences on Tekken 7 into
soul charge. It said it right there.
From your experiences on Tekken 7
soul charge.
Into Soul Calibur 6.
But it wasn't a soul charge. It was like a
Thank you.
Attack, like a super. It looked like a super to me.
Actually, an engine shift, graphics.
That's a soul charge right there.
And we are seeing.
This is a soul charge now. So it doesn't look the same and it doesn't do the same thing, but it looks like it does give you guard breaks and auto lock. So that is what they call soul charge now. It's your activation, V trigger or Vism. This is the soul charge of the game. You're activated, you get guard crushes. That's his 668 plus B. So it's now guard crushing and doing block damage.
with Soul Calibur 6. So I'm curious, did you guys kind of come at the...
So Soul Charge is back. It's some kind of activation. It requires 1 bar. It causes a super flash when you activate.
They went through actually an engine shift.
Right there.
The rendering technology.
It has a block stun or a hit stun.
Graphics, the rendering technology, and we are seeing some
guard damage, guard break.
Thank you.
So I'm curious.
I don't know what else it does. Well, that's cool. Soul Charge is a new mechanic, so I could get behind new mechanics. That's what I want. Remember that retard earlier that was like, "Oh no, new mechanics." Well, he was too stupid to realize that that's what I'm looking for. I want new things and not things from old games. And at least that's new. Soul Charge is some kind of activation that gives you guard breaks and block damage and some kind of auto parry as well. That's cool. Oh, that's the wager system, right? Yeah, it hits. It activates the wager system. He did an A. She chose to sidestep. That's what this is. This is the wager system. I can't believe they added one. So what happens if you fail? You don't really wager, do you? No. You just... It's basically like a super, and the opponent has the opportunity to get out of the super after it's hit if they choose the correct corresponding response. It's not really like a wager system, is it?
Thank you.
Seems to be more like a rock, paper, scissors super animation.
Thank you.
リバーサルエッジの説明なんですけど、やっぱり剣と剣で戦うときって、
I'm out of here.
戦って、
I gotta take a piss. Anyway, I guess to sum up my views on the game so far is, let me say that I'm excited that it exists, and there are some things that are cool. It looks better than I thought, and it moves nice and fast, like what they're saying, like Soul Calibur 2. But, you know, it has a lot of shit that sucks. Hopefully they iron that junk out. Any ideas for a new guest character? I hope they don't put any guest characters in this game. I don't like guest characters. I mean, it's too hit or miss. That's the problem with guest characters. It's too hit or miss. You can't find one that everyone likes. You know, you gotta just take a chance and you either like it or you don't. And I don't like that. I'd rather you just come up with characters. Good character design. The old-fashioned way. But that's my personal opinion. Space Leaf. Thanks. Alright, I gotta take a piss. So, give me a couple minutes. Let me take a leak. And then we'll come back and talk about what we're gonna do after that.
Thank you.